What if I told you you could have 1,000 decorative fill patterns, or even more than that if you wanted to? And you can do that simply by creating a custom decorative fill design in Palette, using it in Palette, and then sending it to your machine to stitch out. And that's what we're going to learn next. So we want to go up here to our upper right where it says Option, one left click, and then we're going to go to Programmable Stitch Creator and click once on that. It will open up another part of the program. And now there's 3 types of stitches we can create: a new fill stamp pattern, a new motif pattern, or what we're going to use next is a new decorative fill pattern. That's what we're going to use tonight. So what you want to do is come down here and click. Once you have this open, click on New Decorative Fill Pattern. And this brings up this part of that program that allows us to create our own decorative fills. So once we want to go over here to the View panel, and you see we have all these crosshatches, these little lines on here. So if we click with axis, it turns it into graph paper. You want that for this, trust me. Under this where it says grid, the slider, you can slide it, and what that does, it'll change the size of your grid paper, your graph paper. So doing the plus size right here makes the spacing of the grid lines larger, and here it makes them smaller. Okay. And what that does, if you're wanting to create a decorative fill with a smooth curve to it, the smaller the grid, the smoother the decorative fill. Now what this represents here, this is actually 4 inches by 4 inches. That cannot be changed, because the default setting for our decorative fill patterns are 3.97 inches by 3.97 inches. What this little window over here is, it says Preview, and you can turn that off and on under View on the View tab right here, Preview window. If I click on that, it'll go away. If I click on it again, it comes back. So to create your own decorative fill pattern, to start off with, let's put this all the way over here to the right, okay? And that way, this has a graph paper that has a grid in it every 1/4 inch, okay? Another important thing to remember are the horizontal and vertical lines at every inch, because to create a connecting decorative fill, when you're designing across this way, and it's going to preview what it will look like over here. So I'm just going to get started and do one so you can see this. So go back to your home screen. Come here, you. There we go. So I want to get rid of that. And what I've got one up here in the corner because I clicked up there like a goober. But I'm going to just do a Control Z to get rid of that. I want nothing over here when I start. Wherever I click the first time is the starting point, okay? So let's say I go down here to this middle line right here and click it once, and then drag my cursor. See how a line is being created that I can move back and forth. It's not appearing over in the preview window yet because I haven't set the next point. These points are also what you could consider a needle drop, so to speak. Because what's actually going to do, it will stitch along the line you're drawing and then change position. So for instance, if I go here, now it turned it to pink, that's set. And I'm going to do it this, I'm going to create a big diamond. And it won't show up on preview until I end this. I can double click it. I'm gonna double click it right here. And now, if I saved it, this is what the stitch out would be like. It would keep adding to it to use just like a regular decorative fill in your machine or in palette. I can keep adding as much as I want to. I'm going to do a line like this. And I'm going to double click it right there. And I'm going to do one up here as well. Bottom corner to the center, center to the other bottom corner, double click. And now I could still add more if I choose to. Let's do just some regular horizontal lines. See what this will look like. Click, drag, and then double click. See it over here, what it's looking like. And let's see. So what it does is it repeats. There's not one down here where this solid line, there's no line going across here. That's this bottom line here. So let's just put one there. Click, double click. There we go. And then we want one up here at the top as well. Click, double click. And now I'm going to do it again. Oh, double click right there, There we go. Okay. Now I'm going to go ahead and do it down the sides. And I'm actually we're going to see what this looks like in a real world application here in just a moment. And I'm going to do these. Now, by any means, you don't have to do these as geometrically as I'm doing it. This is a good exercise just to get accustomed, there we go, accustomed to using this. So there's what my stitch out would like. And if I was done with this, I can now save this. So I go up here to this menu right here, and we're going to do a save. And it automatically pulls up the correct folder. Don't move this folder or it will not show up in palette. Whatever it suggests to put it into, that's what you want to save this pattern to. And I've already saved quite a few from my other classes, but I'm going to name this one. Let's see, test 7, I think is the oldest one. I'm going to put test 10, just so I can find it easy. Okay, and then I'm going to do save. Okay, so if I want to do another one, I'm just going to go over here. Now I'm going to click on New Decorative Fill. Okay. And then I'm going to go over here and I'm going to change my axis down some, because this time I'm actually going to do something that's a little more intricate and with some curves to it. So what I want to do here is I want to blow this up a little bit. So let's see, on Windows, I think it's Control Plus. Nope. Maybe here. Home. There we go. I'm just going to zoom it in some. It's just so I can see it easier. And now that I've got this, I'm going to click on my select button again. We're going to draw the line. There's your zigzag line. You cannot draw a curve. However, by changing the size of the grids, you can create a curved appearance. So if we just do this, then you can angle it. And just by playing with this, you can kind of get, you can see over here now, that's actual, what it would actually look like is this right here. So let's say you wanted to, and of course, the smaller the grid, the smoother the angles of the curve would be. Another thing you can do, let's see here, do this. I'm going to see if I can control Z that away. I did. What I would really like to do is open up, and I can't do it in this particular one. I will show you that on a future class in a different module to this software. Because in this software, you get more than just layout and editing screens through all the wizards and different optional programs. There's about 8 different programs bundled into this one piece of software. So what we're going to do next, we're going to have my new decorative fill here. And I am going to zoom back out now. And on the home tab under, you see the little plus and minus there. Just like in our layout and editing screens that have these controls, they work the same way here. If I click on this one, it will actually fill in our desktop area, our little work area right here. I'm going to click on draw line. I'm going to go to view. I'm actually going to open that up a little bit, because another different way you can do this is you don't have to make such large designs. They don't have to be perfectly, oops, there we go. And each time you double click your mouse, it's going to appear over here in your design window. So to start off here, when you double click, it releases that cursor. So to stay on this line that you're on, you would click it once with your left mouse button, then drag it away. Notice if I drag it away, I have that line. I can position anywhere I want to, even across the previous line. Double click, and it puts it in. One click, start a new one. And I could go across like this. One click, over to the edge, so forth and so on. And here I'm just clicking once as I go. And what that does, you don't have to double click unless you're just wanting to get a preview of it. When I go over to the edge, I'll double click here, and everything I just have drawn that's now in pink will actually show up on my preview window. And a single click. So you can see, this is a lot of time. You can spend a lot of fun time creating your own unique decorative fill. Now I'm going to clear this. I'm just going to use Control Z and back out. And what I'm actually going to do this time, I'm going to create a different type of decorative fill. So the thing is, if you want a continuous line of fill, keep in mind when you start on this side, it's good, regardless of where these lines are, to start and stop it on the same horizontal line. Simply because when it repeats itself from here, And if you layer this side over here, they line up perfectly and it will continue us out and create a continuous decorative fill. Same way with these vertical lines as opposed to the horizontal. If you're going to do that, be at the edge over here, you want those to also end up on the same vertical line starting and beginning, and then they will line up perfectly. This kind of looks like a zigzaggedy zigzag puzzle almost. But anyway, so there's that one, and I'm going to keep that one, and I'm going to save it also. This will be, I'm going to save this as test 11. Save. And then, now that I've got all that done, I'm going to close this. So all I have to do is I can just click on the X up here, or I can just click on this and go to exit. Does the exact same thing. Now I have a little leaf in here. I'm going to make it a little bit bigger for this demo. I'm now going to play with those two decorative fill patterns I just created. So once you have something in here, click on background fill, decorative fill, the area to apply it to, and next. Now we're going to select by clicking on the little file folder, and the ones you create, as long as it starts with a letter past the letter D. I personally would not name it anything beginning with the letter D so it doesn't interfere with the built-in patterns. You could, but you definitely would not want to name it the same as one of these pre-done numbers in here. You would end up overriding it. But here you can see there's the test 7. There's one I created earlier, 6. There's number 11, one I just finished, and there's number 10. So let's do number 11 first. I'm going to click on OK. Now, that's pretty far apart, right? So let's make it smaller. Let's take it from 4 down to a 1-inch repeat. Update. That looks better. So we're going to just click on OK. And now we'll see what that would look like stitched out. And there's a decorative fill that I created in a matter of minutes. But you get the idea of how fast you can create something on there. It's really cool. It's a lot of fun to play with.